Hi everyone, it's Sue with Yulicat's Designs and Yulicat's World blog. And I'm here today with a process video for Craft Roulette, episode 333. And the parameters were for project, a 4x6 card, buffet colors, the element was holiday, and random was bark. I'm starting with Karen Burniston's Ice Cream Sundae pop-up. And now, because I've used this dies a number of times, at some point I pre-cut a bunch of the ice cream out of some packaging so that I could have all different kinds of ice cream colors, and some that even had like little jimmies or sprinkles on top of them. I cut the ice cream dish out of some vellum and then used a white gel pen to color in the markings. For the spoon, I used some silver mirror card. I'm also cutting a doily, so I've used the Lawn Fawn outside in stitch scallop circle stackables, and I used the largest. And for my sentiments, I've used the Karen Burniston Celebrate, as well as the Chloe's Creative Cards, a die and stamp set, but I've just used the die for Happy Birthday. And I cut it out of, I'll show you, it's a very, actually flip that over. You can see it's a very fine die. So what I did on my, I'm using a scrap envelope from junk mail because it was nice and shiny and there was a lot of space. I just took some double-sided wide tape, this is from scrapbook.com, and put it on the back and then die cut that out. So we'll install that in a little bit. And here's the basis of my card. I actually worked on this on Friday night after the show, and I've got the front kind of decorated. I've used some of the Trinity Stamps gold sparkle spots, the flat glitter confetti, and I've got those all glued on. And I cut the Celebrate from red, and then I used my Nuvo glitter gloss brush. It's kind of like a Wink of Stella, but it has sparkling mica chips in it. It's kind of a clear. The papers are from Kaiser Craft out of Australia, and I believe the set is called Uncharted Waters Collection. It's an older set. I've had it in my stash for a while. Now I went ahead and did the inside of my card, but I haven't done all the decorations. The card base is actually cut from an 11 by 8.5 sheet of paper, and I cut it just 4 inches wide. I scored it at 6 inches so that this is 6 and that's 5, so you get this nice little interesting peek of some of the wood grain paper, which I'm calling bark, as in tree bark. And the holiday we're celebrating is the 4th of July, so the red, white, and blue theme. We're going to be using our ice cream colors from a ice cream buffet. So that's why we have our ice cream sundae. And the way this card's designed, the dies are designed, is that you're supposed to cut it out of the card base or glue in another strip, which is what I did. So I actually cut this out, but I had backed, and this is a strip, I don't know if you can tell, but I've covered it with some of the backing paper as well to kind of get it to match. You may see where I've used a little bit of a marker to kind of hide some of the other things. But we're going to use, and I just went through my scrap pile. I had this pretty pink, which kind of reminds me of ice cream. And I'm just going to use it to kind of hide some of my mistakes. I shouldn't say mistakes, but oopsies. So that just kind of acts like a kickboard. I think this side we're going to use with the pattern side. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but it's a little, I wasn't able to match up perfectly all of the stripes because they're kind of wavy stripes. So I'm just matching that up. So you can see there's still a little bit, but this is the way I'm kind of hiding my top edge of my insert that I cut to go in. Now I used, I think it's 80 to 100 pound cardstock for this. You can see this is a little bit of the outline of the mechanism that's behind here. But I cut a second piece from the same cardstock, and I just cut out what would be the back of the ice cream dish, because even though there is a little piece that you glue in behind the stem, you may notice that it's kind of buckled a little bit, the vellum piece, that it's just one of those things to strengthen the piece you have to do. So now that I feel like that glue has set up some, trim off our excess. And from that Lawn Fawn circle, scallop circle, and stitched, I think it's stitched inside out. I cut a full circle. I then kind of held it up, figured out where this is going to go, and I kind of marked with finger fold where the base is. And then I cut a straight line up and over. And then when I had it in there, you can see it goes like that. And then I've just done some kind of what I call finger pinching so that I know where I need to trim it off. So this is kind of a custom cut doily, and I'm going to just put glue on that. And I'm not so worried that the edges are not glued down. So now we'll just glue down this bottom base. Unless you really look, you don't see the cut in the doily because the ice cream dish kind of hides it. And now we'll put on our happy birthday. And let's check and see how far. Basically, we want to keep it above that piece there. So getting the happy birthday on was a little fiddly. I don't know if gluing it would have been easier. I made cards with this happy birthday in several different ways, and I haven't come up with an easy way. I ended up, because once the Y was down, I couldn't get it back up, so I had to trim off a little bit of the D to get it all to lay flat. You can write a message on the doily. And the back I've decorated with a ice cream cone, and of course signed it and put that it's inspired by Craft Roulette, episode number 333. And I used the Funny Bone stamp handmade cards because no one displays an email on the mantle. But inside, because this card, as you can see, is smaller, a lot smaller, that if I have to mail this in the mail, I often will cut, to protect my cards, a piece of just decorator cardstock that is 7 across and 10 down, folded in half, and slip it in, because if this goes to somebody who's a card maker, they can use that. That protects the card, and it makes it easy to pull out. Now, because I use such thick cardstock, this will probably get dubbed by the US mail a package. So I may end up just putting it in a bubble wrapper. So let's go through our parameters. First of all, it is a 4x6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4x6 card. It has ice cream buffet colors, so we've got our main element is the ice cream, but we also picked some of this bright pink for kind of cherry colors, and blue for blueberries, and white for vanilla. We have our holiday is here in America would be the 4th of July or Independence Day. So by saying happy birthday, it could be happy birthday for the nation, although I do have a friend who has their birthday on the 4th of July. So this would be a fitting card for them. And the bark I have used, I'm calling it tree bark, and that's why I've got the wood grain bottom. So on the 4th of July, that's a good time to eat ice cream because it's usually a hot summer day. And you get a little sparkle with the different fireworks in the evening. And that is the card for Craft Roulette episode 333. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you got some inspiration from it. And we'll see you next Friday when Craft Roulette is live again. Bye-bye.